people, are you ready for our live stream today? I gotta repeat that. I said, are you ready for this live stream today? Because this is gonna be a very special live stream. And we're gonna be covering something very near and dear to my heart. And I'm sure it's something that's very important to a lot of other Connecticut residents as well. I know when you travel out of town and you tell people that you're from Connecticut, one of the first things they usually say is, are you rich? So we're going to debunk today, is Connecticut really rich?
That's right.
What do you think? Do you think Connecticut's really rich? Do we have anyone in the chat that's rich, making over 100K, making six figures, maybe 200K? Would anyone consider themselves to be wealthy or rich that's in the chat? As a matter of fact, I see we got some people coming in, so I'm going to give it a little time, but if anybody wants to take this time to let us know where you're from in Connecticut, represent your city, go ahead and write it in the chat. While you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and share the link with our friends on Instagram and on Facebook so that nobody misses a thing. Okay? We want to make sure that our friends on Facebook and Instagram are catching this live. Because I know a lot of people wanted to be here, and it's okay if you couldn't. But I just want to make sure I'm giving everyone the heads up that we're going live right now. So I went ahead and sent the link. I added the link to Instagram so that our Instagram friends could come in. In 1 second, I'm going to go ahead and add it to Facebook so our Facebook friends can come in. Because this is a really important topic. I know you're always hearing that Connecticut is so rich, but I want to know your opinion. Are you experiencing the wealth? If you're not, where do you think the wealth is going? Do you feel like it is only going to a certain part of town, a certain group of people? Do you feel like it's this 1% that has all of the wealth and we're just downtrodden and having to reap the benefits of high taxes? Because we do have some high taxes here. So if you live in Connecticut and you have a house, I know you know. But at the same time, I know you must have that.
Cha-ching.
Because it's important. You got to have that money to live here. Taxes are high. The cost of living is high. And we're going to get into all of that today. But if you have any comments on Connecticut being rich or not, I want to hear what you have to say in the chat before we continue. Do you think Connecticut is rich? I can tell you from my personal opinion, if I didn't hear all these rumors about Connecticut being rich, I would have never thought Connecticut was rich. But I know a lot of people do feel that way, so it is what it is. But I just want to make sure we have enough people here so that we can get started with the conversation, because I would love your input. Do you really think Connecticut is this wealthy place? I know Connecticut does have, okay, we got someone in the chat. DWC13 says, hey, Black CT Mag. Hey, D. How's it going? D, why don't you let us know where you're from? Let us know where you're from in Connecticut. We want to make sure you're representing where you're from, and we want to make sure your voice is heard. So let us know. Okay, she said certain areas are rich. Facts. Certain areas are rich. You know what? And kudos to them. Shout out to all the rich areas in Connecticut getting that money. Because some of us, we can use a little extra money, if you know what I mean. But others, we're living okay. Some of us are living financially well. Some of us are just living beyond our means. And okay, DWC13 says she's from BPT. All right, BPT 203. All right, we see you. We see you. Park City in the building. Anybody else want to shout out where they're from? I see we got a couple more people in the live. If you're shy, that's okay. You know how it goes if you've been here before. You don't have to shout out where you're from. If you just want to listen, you can listen because you know we're coming to you today with the facts.
Cha-ching.
The facts.
Cha-ching.
The facts. And you can't get this information anywhere else. This is going to be exclusive to the black community in the state of Connecticut. If no one else has you covered, you know that Black Connecticut got your back. So we're going to let you know what's going on with the income levels in Connecticut. We're going to let you know who has what. And we're going to let you know, is Connecticut really rich? Now, since this is Black Connecticut and we cover everything all black all the time, this conversation will be from a black perspective. Again, I just want to repeat, this conversation will be from a black perspective. So when we ask, is Connecticut really rich? We're really asking, is the black community in Connecticut really rich? Now, does anybody have any thoughts about that? Do you guys think the black community in Connecticut is rich? I can tell you, I don't know. But I can tell you another thing. We're going to get into it. So by the end of this live, you're going to know. You're going to know the facts. You're going to know the details. You're going to know it all. We went ahead and we shared the link to our friends on Facebook and to our friends on Instagram. So we should have more people coming in. But in the meantime, I want to continue. So let's get into it. Again, since we're living in what is considered the richest state in the United States, the real question here is, are black people in Connecticut really rich? So for part one, we're going to be discussing unequal pay. Now, unequal pay is determined by something called a wage Gini, or a wage GINI. And the GINI measures inequality of incomes. The GINI was invented by Italian statistician Corrado Gini. And according to Data USA, the GINI for Connecticut was higher than the national average of 0.478. Connecticut's currently at 0.507. If you didn't hear that, that was 0.507. In other words, the wages are distributed less evenly in Connecticut in comparison to the national average. In fact, Connecticut actually has the highest level of income inequality in the country. Now, do you see this graph? Does everyone see this graph here? This is a graph highlighting wage distribution in Connecticut based on our annual income. And again, Connecticut has the highest level of income inequality in the country. So, based on this, you can see that on this graph, there's a lot of activity at the beginning, which is less than $10,000 to, it looks like the activity kind of starts to get lower around, looks like $100,000. It starts to get $100,000 a year. It starts to get lower. But if you're looking at this graph like I'm looking at this graph, you can see that most of the people are in the level of $10,000 to $100,000. Do you see that? And I feel like that is a pure indication of unequal wage distribution because Connecticut is so rich. So why aren't we seeing these high levels of income at the bottom? Now, as you can see, it looks like a little over 10% makes less than $10,000 a year, which is almost parallel to the national state average. The national state average is here in gray, and Connecticut's percentage is here in orange, this dark orange color here that you see. Okay, DWC13 says, I did not see that coming. I didn't see that coming either, to be honest with you, because, I mean, I've been hearing Connecticut's so rich. I'm like, where's my money? Run me my check. So somebody has all the money. I don't know who it is, but it looks like a lot of people are making around less than $10,000 a year. And now we have a group that makes around $10,000 a year. It's a little over 10%. It starts to get a little bit lower, somewhere around this, somewhere around this mark. Okay. As you can see, once we get to $100,000, that's when things really start to get lower. And that's about less than 4% of Connecticut residents making $100,000 or more. And then once we get to around, let's see, over $200,000. Can you guys see that very last bar? Over $200,000. So it looks like less than 6% of Connecticut residents are making over $200,000 a year. So, but here's where it gets tricky. If you look at the national average, it looks like the national average is about 3%. So if less than 6% are making over $200,000, that's what is attributing to Connecticut having the reputation of being so wealthy. We have a lot of people who are making over $200,000. Maybe not as much people that are making $10,000 or $20,000, but we have enough. We have more than the national average. And those people are contributing to what is making Connecticut this wealthy, wealthy state. Now, if you're not convinced by this graph, let's watch this video from WTNH News 8 that further elaborates on the issue. Now, I'm going to pull up the video. Just give me 1 second here. I'm going to make sure everything is set up. Let me know if for some reason you can't hear or if you can't see anything. I'm going to go ahead and press play.
The gap is widening between the nations.
Okay, did everyone see that video there? I thought that was very, very interesting. Now, what I thought was the most interesting is that everyone said education could be a solution. Why not pay equity? Does anyone have any thoughts on that? Why not pay equity? Is that such a terrible thing to ask? Especially if we're so rich. Why can't we share that wealth, you know? Pass it around.
Get money.
Pass around the wealth.
Get money.
Pass it around.
Get money.
Pass around the wealth.
Get money.
Because we shouldn't be having poor people here in Connecticut if we're so wealthy, right? Now, just so you can get an idea on Connecticut and how it compares to other cities, we're going to get into part 2, which is poverty levels. In part 2, things are going to get real interesting. Are you ready? Are you guys ready for part 2? Here we go. Did you know that 10% of Connecticut residents are living in poverty? Just last year, that was 10.5%, and it did decrease down to 10%, as 10.5% is the national average. Connecticut is lower than the national average, as it did decline 5%, which is good, but let's see how it compares to, say, other states in the tri-state area in the New England region. Now, based on information that we gathered from census.gov, again, Connecticut, 10% of the population is living in poverty. And again, we have about 3,565,287 residents. Out of those residents, 10% are living in poverty. The median income of those residents has been determined to be $78,444. I want you to remember that number, $78,444. So that is the median income of a Connecticut resident, allegedly. Let's get into it, though. Let's get into it. So, again, Connecticut, 10% of the population is living in poverty. Now, in comparison to our neighbor in Massachusetts, only 9.4% of Massachusetts residents are living in poverty. That is less than Connecticut's average. And Massachusetts is not the richest state in the country. Then we have New Jersey, which has a reputation for being expensive because of its proximity to New York City. However, New Jersey's impoverished population is only at 9.2%. Can you believe that? New Jersey's impoverished population is lower than Connecticut's. However, when we consider our neighbor New York, the impoverished population is 13%. And that does make sense because there is New York City, and New York, the state of New York, is the most populous in the country. So given they do have more residents than 3,565,287 that we have in Connecticut, it makes sense that their poverty level is just a little bit higher than ours. Now, we want to compare that to what the census calls the poorest state in the U.S., and that's Mississippi. Mississippi is the poorest state in the United States, as 19.6% of its residents are living in poverty. That's 9.1% more than the United States average. Unlike Connecticut, their median income is $45,081. And we gathered all this information from census.gov. So feel free to check out census.gov when you get the chance if you want to confirm or if you want to do research of your own. And while you're at it, make sure, if you're not following us already, to follow us at Black CT Mag on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. That's at Black CT Mag on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And if you don't have a presence on any of those platforms, feel free to go to blackconnecticut.com and subscribe to our mailing list to keep up with us. We're going to have a lot of updates for you coming soon. And you know that we're equipping you with the facts.
That's right.
Okay, DWC13 says, Mississippi has been the poorest state for a while. Facts. You're right. I can't argue with that. You're right. One time for DWC 13. Mississippi has been the poorest state for a while. But, if you look at the statistics, there is a trend. A lot of the poorest states in the United States are in the South, preferably below the Mason-Dixon line. And that does make sense. So, once you start heading up north, that's where all the wealth is attributed. And Connecticut is one of those states. Like, a lot of people say that Connecticut is boring, or a lot of people say that Connecticut is rich. It's filled with nothing but rich white kids. And we're going to break it down for you. Instead of just hearing these stereotypes, we're going to give you the facts today. We're going to arm you with the facts so that next time you have a conversation with somebody about Connecticut and they approach you as a black person and they're like, "Are you rich because you live in Connecticut?" You know what to say because you have the data to support what's going on in your state. And that's what we're here for. We want to make sure that we're equipping you with the data. So again, Mississippi, the poorest state in the United States, has a median annual income of $45,081, which is almost $30,000 less than the state of Connecticut. And for me, I always wonder, how do you get to that point? I feel like poverty isn't something that always happens overnight. It can literally be a gradual effect that's taking place as our cost of living is continuing to rise from right under our nose. And I know a lot of you can relate with what's going on with COVID right now. We've all had stable jobs, we've all had stable income, but markets are fluctuating. Things are changing. And sometimes it's just so many gradual changes that we can't keep up with, and you wake up the next minute and boom, you're homeless. Boom, you're poor. Boom, you don't have the money that you used to have. So we understand, but we also want to break down not just what can make a poor city or state, but what makes a wealthy city or state. And if the black community or the black population in particular is factoring into that, or are we just some overshadow, given we are about 10% of Connecticut's demographic? If you don't know, if you didn't catch our census video, go ahead and check it out, because we break down the census and how many black people are in Connecticut versus how many non-black people are in Connecticut per city, and it's actually very interesting. Also, we break it down per county, and it's a little disappointing to see the lack of representation of black people in Connecticut counties. But guess what? Guess what? That's what we're here for. We want to make sure we're representing the underrepresented in Connecticut. So Black Connecticut is a platform for black people by black people that exclusively covers the state of Connecticut. And if you're not familiar with us, follow us at Black CT Mag at Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. If you don't want to follow us on social media, you can go to blackconnecticut.com and subscribe to our mailing list to keep up with us. Now, I want to move forward with our segment here. According to the World Population Review data, Connecticut is 27.7% above the national average pertaining to the cost of living. Again, that's 27.7% above the national average pertaining to the cost of living. So as we mentioned before, sometimes it really is just taxes are piling up, they're rising, the cost of living is rising, your family's lived here for decades, and you want to remain here because this is what you know. So you're just trying to keep up with the rise, the influx in taxes, the influx in the cost of living. And World Population Review does get into it a little bit more. According to World Population Review, 43.7% Connecticut is above the national housing average. So Connecticut is 43.7% above the national housing average. Connecticut is also 28% above the national utilities average. So when you're paying your UI bill from United Illuminating or any other company that you may have, Eversource, or if you're in New York, you might have a different type of supplier, but whatever you're paying, Connecticut residents are paying 11.8% above, 28% above the utilities average. But when it comes to transportation, like the cost of gas and the cost of maintaining your vehicle, Connecticut residents are paying 11.8% above the national transportation average. That is enough to make you go poor. DWC 13 says 43% over. What in the world? That's crazy. I feel you, but what can you really do? Like, if you want to stay in Connecticut, you just you have to deal with it. DWC 13 says, how do we afford this? I don't know, but they're claiming that we're all rich. So, I guess the only option is to
get to stepping.
Just joking. Just joking. We want you to stay, but if you can't afford the prices, what do you do? That's a good question. I don't know. Interesting. And we're going to get into another segment later that is going to highlight Black household incomes so that we can determine if the Black population in Connecticut can actually afford to live in this state that they claim is the median income average is over $78,000. So that's going to be very interesting. You don't want to miss out on that, so stay tuned. I definitely don't want you to miss out on that segment, and we're going to get into that right now. So, before we get into that, DWC 13 says the cost of living is way too high in Connecticut. I agree 100%. I agree. And, I wish that there was something we can do, but I don't know what to do. I'm not sure what to do unless they're going to give us more money. Does anyone have a solution? Money Lisa says, I'm moving. LOL. All right. Hey, that is a solution.
Get to stepping.
We're going to miss you, though. We're going to miss you. So, are you guys ready for part 3? This is part 3 of Is Connecticut Really Rich? Before we get into part 3, DWC 13 says, I guess it's time to head back down south. Are you heading back down south? Well, how are you going to get the...
Cha-ching.
I guess the cost of living is lower, so you'll be happier, but the pay is also lower. And as we mentioned before, based on the statistics, the poorest states are below the Mason-Dixon line. So it does depend on where you're moving down there. If you are going to move down there, be careful. Not like there isn't enough to be careful of up here, but we're going to get into part 3. And you don't want to miss this, so make sure you're paying close attention, okay? Pay close attention. Now, remember that number that we asked you to remember earlier on in the chat? Remember that we asked you to remember that the median income for Connecticut households was $78,444. Again, it's $78,444. $444. Here's part 3, income wars. Now in part 3, I'm actually going to do something a little different that I haven't done before. We're going to pull up some live data from datausa.io so that you can see for yourself what the numbers are. And believe you me, folks, I'm not making it up. I wish I was, but here are the facts. So, I'm not sure if you can see my screen. Let me make sure I get down to the right area here so that we can go through it. Now, let me know if you can't see the screen. Can everyone see the screen here? Okay. Okay, give us some feedback and let us know if you can see the screen or if you cannot see the screen. If you can see the screen, I'm just going to go ahead and move forward. So, you see this map of Connecticut? Now, this map of Connecticut is very fascinating because this map in Connecticut is highlighting all of the income by location. And here's what that means. Every county, the same way we went through the census and we went through the black population per county, datausa.io provides us with the income level of families by race and ethnicity based on their county. And as you can see here, it says that the highest median household income is in Fairfield County, Tolland County, and Litchfield County. Okay, DWC 13 says we can see the screen. Perfect. We're going to go ahead and move forward because you don't want to miss this. I promise you, you don't. So as you can see, Fairfield County has the highest median household income in the state of Connecticut. Second is Tolland County, Connecticut. Third is Litchfield County, Connecticut. And if you were present for our live on the United States Census 2020 from a black perspective, you know that Fairfield County does have a large black population. But the black population is not as large as 2 or more races and some other race. So we want to know who's making up this large income that's making Connecticut so rich. Here it gives us a little synopsis, and it says, in 2019, in 2019, the county with the highest median household income in Connecticut was Fairfield County, with a value of $97,053. Now, that's a lot more than that median income of $78,000 that they gave us. But $97,053 is the median household income in Fairfield County, followed by Tolland County and Litchfield County, with respective values of $91,028 and $81,195. Now, what we want to know, I repeat, what we want to know is what percentage of this population is black? Are black families making up this large, wealthy income, household income in Connecticut? Because again, we're Black Connecticut, so that's what we're all about. Does anybody think that, okay, DWC 13 says, I knew it was Fairfield County. That's where the money is. Yep, that's where the money is. But do you guys feel like black people are making up this large percentage in terms of the median household income? I want to know. Because if you guys do, I think that's interesting. I mean, there could be a bunch of wealthy black families here in Connecticut. Money Lisa said, I don't think so. Okay, we got one, I don't think so. So now we're actually going to get into it so you can see for yourself. Right now we have it on total. But what we're going to do is we're going to switch it over to I don't know if you can see it here. We have the option to switch it over from total in terms of race and ethnicity to black. And we're doing that right now. As it's loading, I want you to start thinking, how do you feel like black families are doing in Connecticut? Do you feel like because it's up north that we're prospering? Do you feel like, it's so much different from the rest of the world? Or do you feel like we're not really included in this high median income household? Okay, it has loaded. So as you can see, it does say the highest median household income for the black community is still Fairfield County, Hartford County, which wasn't there before. So Fairfield County, black people in Fairfield County are consisting of the highest median household income. And if you're not familiar with Fairfield County, that's Stamford, that's Greenwich, like a lot of the rich towns are cities, are Stamford, Greenwich, Danbury, and then there is definitely Bridgeport. But here's a fun fact about Bridgeport. Bridgeport was one of the first cities in Connecticut to recently file for bankruptcy. And as you know from our census video, Bridgeport is also the most populous city in the state of Connecticut, and it has the most black people in Fairfield County. So I want you to consider that as we continue on. But now Hartford County also has a high percentage, one of the highest percentage of black households in Connecticut. So I think it's interesting that they make up the highest median household income for black families. And Litchfield County, I don't know much about Litchfield County, but it's interesting to see them there. So let's hear what they have to say. It says in 2019, the county with the highest median household income, that's black, in Connecticut, was Fairfield County, with the value of $52,992. $52,992? That is definitely at least $20,000, more than $20,000, less than what they reported as the median income for the state of Connecticut. So why is it when it gets to black families, the median household income is significantly lower? That is red flag number one. Now, Hartford County follows and Litchfield County follows with respective values of $52,326 and $51,329. Why is this all in the 50s? I'm going to kindly remind you about Mississippi. That was considered to be the poorest state in the United States. Mississippi's median income was $45,081. The black median household income in Connecticut is only $5,000 more. So this is how black people in Connecticut are living. It's something to think about. Well, we're hearing all these big numbers about black people making so much money, or people making so much money. Is it even us? Okay, we got some comments in the chat here. DWC13 says Stamford, Fairfield, Trumbull, Westport, and Greenwich. Good point. Westport also makes up a significant percentage of the wealth that is distributed in Fairfield County. She also says, unfortunately, no, we don't. Those areas I listed are saturated up the data. Yeah, as you saw from the video that we shared from WTNH News 8, they mentioned how Bridgeport, one of the women mentioned that some of her clients come from Bridgeport, and they can't afford certain things. So they understand the inequality in terms of income and the wealth gap. Great point, DWC13. Great point. I don't know if you were here during that, but that's an excellent point. Now, we're really going to get into it. Are you guys ready to get into it? This site allows us to go through every single county, and it provides us with the household median income based on the county. And this is exclusively for the black community. You won't see this anywhere else on YouTube. You won't see this anywhere else on Instagram. You won't see this anywhere else on Facebook. And again, kind reminder to follow us at Black CT Mag on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, because you're not going to get that information anywhere else. Are you ready? Let's start with Fairfield County. So as we hover over Fairfield County, you can see that the Black median household income, as we mentioned, is $52,992. Again, that is over $20,000 less than what they quoted for Connecticut's average median income, which is $78,444. Now, Litchfield County, $51,359. So Black households, their median household income is $51,359 in Litchfield County. Hartford County, as we just mentioned, this is Hartford County. The median household income for Black families is $52,326. Now, Tallinn County, which if you were a part of our U.S. Census live chat, or even if you saw the replays, you know that it has a very small Black population. If you want to check it out, we do have it in a playlist on our YouTube page. Go ahead and check it out. And if you're looking for more data like this, make sure you subscribe to Black Connecticut's YouTube page, because we got all the facts for you. All of this is going to make sense in the end, because the more information you have, the more informed you are on what is going on with the Black population in Connecticut. And again, nobody else is going to give it to you like we do. So, Tallinn County, Connecticut, only the Black family only makes about $30,624. That's over $40,000 less than the median income of $78,444 that they claim Connecticut residents are making. Why is that so low? Windham County, Connecticut, the median household income for Black families is $36,433. Again, still in the 30s, extremely low. Over $30,000 less than $78,444, which has been reported as the median income. In fact, these numbers are lower than Mississippi, which the median income was $45,081 and made them the poorest state. So if Black people in Connecticut are living by means lower than the poorest state in the United States, which is Mississippi, how does that make us rich? Again, I want to ask you, if Black families in Connecticut are living beneath the income of the poorest state in the country, which is Mississippi, how does that make us rich? How does that make us rich? I really want to know. Okay, DWC 13 said these numbers are mind-blowing. That's why it's important to have the facts. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. So you saw Windham County. We stopped at Windham County, which was $36,433, which is significantly less than Mississippi. That is the poorest state in the United States. At $45,081 is their median income. Now, New London, Connecticut. The median household income for Black families in New London is $43,799. That is, it's not too far off, but it's over $2,000 less than the poorest state in the United States. Why are Black families living beneath the United States average in the U.S., but we are being told that we are rich? It is something to think about. Middlesex County, Connecticut. As you can see, the median household income for Black families in Middlesex County is $30,480. That's over $10,000. Actually, that's over $15,000 less than Mississippi, which is the poorest state in the U.S., with a median income of $45,081. Now, shout out to census.gov, and shout out to datausa.io, who is powering us with the facts today, because this is where we're getting all of our information from. So if you want to confirm, or if you want to get any other information that maybe we didn't mention, feel free to check them out. We stopped at Middlesex County, which is $30,480 for black families. Last but not least, New Haven County. The average black family in New Haven County makes about $43,171. And I'm going to kindly point out that that is even around $2,000 less than what the poorest state in the United States is making. I repeat, black families in New Haven, Connecticut, their median household income is over $2,000 less than what the poorest state in the United States is making at $45,081. New Haven County black families are only making $43,171. And this is mind-boggling because New Haven County has Ivy League universities like Yale. Some of the wealthiest people in the country and in the world travel to New Haven, Connecticut, where these black families are living beneath the United States median average. They're living like the poorest people in the United States. And just a recap of Fairfield County, as we mentioned first. Fairfield County, the median household income for black families is $52,992. And I want to point out, if you were watching the WTNH News 8 video, you heard them mention that the average income in Fairfield County is $82,000 a year. So black families in Fairfield County are making over 30% lower than the average income in Fairfield County. Is that not mind-boggling to you? I want to circle back just to see if anyone has any comments, or if there's any last minute additions that anyone has on what we just went over today, because it's shocking. I'm shocked to see these numbers, and I know you are too, especially given when we travel outside of this state. People think you're rich. You're black, but people think you're rich because you live in Connecticut or because you are from Connecticut. But look at what black people in Connecticut are making. DWC13 says, what is the name of this website? Okay, the name of the website, well, we got the information from a bunch of different websites. However, the website that we were just sharing our screen on, that was datausa.io, and we encourage you to check it out so you can see the facts for yourself. Because, I mean, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. So now you know what black people are really making here. Cha-ching. Are you not shocked? Another fun fact, on that particular website, we discovered that black people in the field of nursing, particularly registered nurses, make the lowest amount of all races. So if you're black and you're a registered nurse in the state of Connecticut, your salary is significantly less than other races that are also in the same profession and in the same state. So again, back to that video, they were saying education was a solution. Why not pay equity? If you're paying black people less for the same job you're paying others more for. If black people are getting less money, black households are making less money, but they're expected to pay the same amount of taxes that everyone else pays. That's not fair. Is that fair to you? I mean, I really want to know, is that fair to you? Because that doesn't sound too fair to me. But again, life isn't fair. And as we mentioned earlier, Connecticut is responsible for having the highest level of unequal pay. So, I mean, no surprise, but it's unfortunate that black people have to carry this reputation of being from this very wealthy state. And we can't get the wealth. Spread the wealth. Money Lisa said, this is scary. You're right. This is scary. It's scary because, again, we're expected as black people to pay the same amount of taxes. We're expected as black people to pay the same amount, but we're not getting the same amount. DWC 13 says Fairfield County is boosting all the numbers, which is giving inaccurate outlook for blacks in CT. Bingo! Shout out to DWC 13, who's right on the money as usual. You're correct. That small percentage of people who are not black, I mean, I can't say none of them are black, but I can say most of them are not, because we saw the stats there. If a larger percentage of black families were making up the wealth in Connecticut, our numbers wouldn't be 52,000, 30,000. Remember, the median income was $78,444. Why is the black median income over $30,000 lower? It's something to think about. So, where is all the money going? It looks like a large percentage of the money is going to a certain group of people who are not black, who are particularly living in Fairfield County. And we're left to pick up the pieces for carrying on this reputation of being this very wealthy state. Now, I want to thank you all for joining us today on our YouTube Live. This was a rather serious YouTube Live, unlike our other ones, which are usually a little more funny. But again, this is some factual, high-level stuff that you can't get anywhere else.
That's right.
So we want to make sure that we're arming you with the facts. We want to make sure our entire platform exists to make sure that you, as a black resident in Connecticut, is not only well represented, but is aware of what is going on with other black people in Connecticut. Because we can't be prepared if we don't know what's going on. So, shout out to everyone that made it in the chat. Shout out to our Instagram followers, our Facebook followers. We appreciate you. If you found us on Instagram or TikTok or even Facebook and you joined our live, don't forget to follow us at Black CT Mag on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. If you're not following us on all three, we encourage you to do so. And if you're already following us on all three, feel free to visit our website, blackconnecticut.com, and subscribe to our mailing list because our website is coming soon. And our website is going to be really exciting, exclusive, top-notch Black Connecticut topics, all black, all the time, just for you. So stay tuned. And thank you for joining our YouTube Live today on Is Connecticut Really Rich? Also, happy